What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and I want to thank everyone for stopping by today. And if I have yet to earn your subscription, I hope today is the day. But today I want to get into a movie review. Um, a movie review that I'm kind of surprised that this movie hasn't been a little bit more well known out in the ethos, so to speak, and we're going to talk about Ingrid Goes West, starring Aubrey Plaza as Ingrid, Elizabeth Olsen as. I want to make sure I don't mix the two names up. Taylor Sloan, O'Shea Jackson Jr. as Dan Pinto. We have Wyatt Russell, the son of the great Kurt Russell, playing Ezra O'Keefe, and Billy Magnesium playing Nicky, Elizabeth Olsen's brother in the movie. We start off the movie with Aubrey Plaza's character Ingrid crashing a wedding and basically pepper spraying the bride because she didn't get an invite to the said wedding. She thought that she was surprised that she didn't get the invite. She wound up spending some time in a mental institution, and then shortly after that, her mother, who was sick, had passed away, leaving Ingrid a sizable amount of money to, where it was could be life changing money. Ingrid, in her despair and in her want to connect to anybody, moves out west, goes west, so to speak. Go west, young man, or in this instance, young lady. And as she reaches out to the LA area, she meets O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character, Dan Pinto. She rents a room for him. He is currently writing a Batman movie. He is obsessed, so to speak, with Batman, and this is going to be a running theme throughout the movie Obsession. And his explanation for his love of Batman was that his parents had passed away in a car accident when he was younger. He would wear a Batman mask, be called want to be called Bruce because Bruce Wayne was also an orphan, and if he was somebody else, it's as if the trauma of leaving his parents leaving happened to somebody else and not to him, Dan. So that's why he chose to live under the guise of Bruce Wayne, so to speak, as a child for a little while. Um, Again, it connects to Ingrid's character being somebody that she feels that she's not necessarily, just to gain a connection to Elizabeth Olsen's character, who she thinks is so perfect. She goes to the most perfect boutiques and bookstores and all this other stuff where it's the type of stores you go into where a lampshade is $1,200 or whatever like that, and um, it's very much indicative of how we always want to try to live our life compared to other people, to other people's situations, and we sometimes realize before it's too late that that is not always uh, the wisest plan to follow because everyone's situation is different. Everybody wants the same thing. They want that nice house. They want that nice car. They want the nice shoes, the nice clothes, the finest wines, the finest uh, pot to smoke, or whatever, the finest foods to eat. But not all of us are in the financial capacity to live that type of lifestyle, to live that freedom of being able to go everywhere and anywhere and willy nilly swiping your card. The husband, Ezra, is an artist that Elizabeth Olsen's character, tried to get into art. What he does is he just takes already established paintings and he writes a big hashtag on the painting, and then he'll write something like squad goals or live your best life. Ridiculous hashtags that you would find on Instagram where it's advice that's already, like, yeah, thanks. I know that. Happiness comes from within. Gee, I didn't know that. I thought it came from cocaine and hookers. you know, uh, but yeah. So Ingrid winds up stealing Elizabeth Olsen's dog, Taylor. Right? I just want to. I don't want to. I want to keep calling her Sloan for some reason. Taylor's dog, in order to return the dog to get in on the friendship. That's how like devious this whole thing what started off, and because of that, they Ingrid and Taylor start hanging out a little bit more, and then one day, oh, the first day they hung out, she borrowed Dan's truck, and on the way there, it was only supposed to be for a couple hours, and they wound up finding a stash of coke, and they decide to, do the coke and go drinking and stuff. And at some point on the way home, they start singing Casey and JoJo's "All My Life," and Ingrid is singing it to, like, they're lip syncing, like singing, but Taylor's thinking they're just being goofy and singing the song together. In the movie, it's as if Ingrid is really singing to Taylor, like, "All my life I've been waiting for you." I can't really sing no more of that. I might get copywritten. Um, and she winds up sideswiping a guardrail, messes up the car. Dan gets mad. He does call the cops, but then uh, she winds up making it up to him, and they wind up going out together on a date. And they seem to have a really genuine connection. They have a genuine attraction for each other. At least Dan is really wanting Ingrid to be herself, allow herself to be herself. Um, Eventually, Nick, uh, Taylor's brother, comes and visits, and he didn't get a good vibe off Ingrid, and he winds up stealing her phone and unlocking it because he's seen what her password was early in the movie. He discovers all the things that she's been doing, like um, when Ingrid first went into Taylor's house, into the bathroom, she would take pictures of the bathroom, her medicine cabinet. She would take pictures of her sleeping, and Nick was like basically blackmailing her to not tell the sister that basically Ingrid is a stalker and a liar. Ingrid hatches a plan to kidnap Nick and beat him up to scare him with Dan, and Dan winds up getting messed up. And then Nick gets messed up a little bit, and then we see Ingrid not sure what's happening. She leaves the hospital where Dan is at because he wound up going to the hospital and getting hurt really bad. Um, Taylor, Nick, and Ezra set a plan to see if Nick is really telling the truth about Ingrid being a stalker. So they do pictures of her being at Joshua Tree, and then pictures of here, and then pictures of her there. And it's Ingrid took the trap, and when she would call and say, "Oh, I'm in Joshua Tree. I seen you guys were here," that's when Ezra explains to her, "We know everything that's happening." Nick explains to us, "If he didn't try to blackmail you, you'd be in jail now," type of thing. And then Ingrid goes on these manic calls of, uh, "I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Why? How dare you? I'm playing." Just really like a dog with a bone that won't let it go. She's caught. She's called out. Take the L. She decides to take the rest of her money and buy the house next to Taylor and Ezra that they wanted to buy, or well, that Taylor wanted to buy to make into a Airbnb boutique type of store called the Desert Door. During this movie, though, Ingrid learns that Taylor herself wasn't always this cool, chill lady. She was lied about things too, like her favorite book being really her husband's favorite book. She just liked a name out of the book, the Desert Door. That's why she. That's why it stuck with her wanting to name the Airbnb boutique show store that name. But she would lie and say it's her favorite book or whatever. Um, Eventually, Nick brings over like a woman who's more popular on Instagram, and Taylor and her start hanging out more. Uh, Ingrid's on the outs, and then finally at this Halloween party where the big blow up happens, um, Ingrid convinces Taylor to talk to her, and it still didn't really work out too well. Uh, Taylor was like, "You're done. We're just done," and Nick is there, Ezra's there, and they're just like, "We're done. You got to leave us alone. Otherwise we're really gonna have to start calling the cops." She goes next door and makes a video for Instagram. Ingrid does, and basically reveals her whole vulnerable side, explaining how she's been lying. She's not living the fantastic life that she portrays on Instagram. Probably like many Instagrammers out there, truly are not living the most fabulous life like they like to show you. It's just a dream that's getting sold to you that you can never achieve um, on a normal everyday basis unless you're a millionaire, billionaire. And there's not many people of that ilk that can walk around just freely doing whatever they want to do. It's not reality. For many people, they have to work a day to day job. They have to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Rent is $1,500 to $2,000, and people don't know how to afford that. Food bills, utilities. The great vast majority of the people of the world have to worry about these necessities to live. Forget about $1,200 lampshades, $600 jeans, $2,000 Yeezys, or $1,600 Balenciaga uh, hoodie that you look like a homeless man in. It's all a facade. It's all smoke and mirrors. And we allow ourselves to be tricked by these smoke and mirrors of social media and thinking that we're not living the best life. We're not manifesting hard enough. We're not, doing it enough like these people are. And it makes you nutty. You know what I mean? It makes you reach for the clouds of clout that um, you may never achieve. And if you were to achieve them, at what price must we achieve that life? Is really the question. And she ends basically the video by saying, "I am Ingrid." And she takes a bottle of pills and swallows some alcohol. She plays All My Life by Casey and JoJo and puts up the picture that of her and Taylor that they first took together. And she was legitimately ready to pass on to the afterlife. But good old Dan um, sees the video when she uploads it to Instagram. He calls 911. They find her. She survives. And in the meantime, when she wakes up in the hospital and Dan shows her her phone about the tens of thousands of responses that she got because the attempted suicide, the attempted self harm video went viral, um, you can see a new obsession begin. You would think that her surviving this would make her not even care about a phone. You know what I mean? Care about what other people's thoughts are on her. But with all the thousands of comments and it's flooding her endorphins, we see the last scene that maybe, just maybe, she didn't learn her lesson. And that is the movie Ingrid Goes West. I'm going to give this movie actually a 9 out of 10. It was well written, well acted. There wasn't a part where I felt like it dragged. I think everyone did their part excellently. And I'm kind of upset that there wasn't more hubbub to do with this movie. But check it out, Ingrid Goes West. That's my thoughts on the movie. And until next time, peace, Snookums. Bruh.